Okie dokie. Next thing. I made it so that when we create the spell book, or I'll do this first so I can talk so I don't cast spells on accident. I'm going to make first person animations at some point where your arms are extended in front of you. That way the spell book can be created and parented to your left hand. That way you can always see the spell, and then your right hand will, whatever, it'll do stuff whenever you cast spells, maybe, something like that. So, it'll be created whenever the game starts. The spell book is created. Whenever you cast a spell, the character will check using the spell book whether he can cast a spell. Is the spell in the book? If you're on this level, then maybe you start with these spells. If you're on another level, then you start with those spells. The spell book on the game's begin is going to determine what spells you start with depending on what map you're on. Because if it's the forest, I haven't decided if I want to give all spells or just a few. The maze, definitely just a few because it's just so large and there needs to be more, like, not more to do to fill the time, but it's the type of map where it would be good if there was more to do. So you can collect more spells. A maze, a dungeon, it's really the closest to a dungeon I have. And in a dungeon, you should be able to collect stuff and get kitted up to fight the enemies. It just feels good. Compared to the hall map, that's literally a straight line and it's just PvP. So, hall map, all spells. Maze, some spells. So, all spells versus some. Forest, not sure. So the spellbook will switch on a string, and I haven't added this yet, but there'll be 3 options, and we will set the this guy depending on the values. And I might just do this. I might do a select node, maybe something like this. Actually, I'm probably going to do that. And then I could select this, but maybe not. Maybe that doesn't make as much sense. So I think I'll do something like this. And this will set it to be the maze version versus the forest version versus the hall version, something like that. And then I'll have 3 pre-made versions of these. So one of them will be the forest, and we'll set it to be these. Another will be the maze, or this might be the maze where you only have these plus another one. And then another one is all of them, and I have a pre-made one, and then I have another that's something else. Whatever, something, because I have to put these in an array somewhere. So, but right now, what you can do is, in the game, I'm just going to break this real quick. Okay. In the game, when you try and cast a spell, the game will check to see if the spell is in your spellbook. At some point, I'm going to add, hopefully tomorrow, I'm going to add functionality so that when you cast a spell, there's a cooldown for most spells, unlike light. Light is a spell you don't need a cooldown, but other spells, there'll be a cooldown, and the sigil, the symbol of the spell will fade over time, and once it has come back, then you can cast it again. So, when you try and cast a spell, 1, we're going to check, do you even have the spell? And 2, is the spell that you have castable? If not, you can't cast it. If you can, or if it is, then you can. Here's an example. We'll start the game. I'm going to try and cast Fireball. Does nothing. Freeze. Does nothing. Magic Missile. Does nothing. Blink. Lightning Bolt. Thunderclap. Shield. Recover. Freeze. Nothing. I summon the book, and this will happen at the beginning of the game. Freeze. Fireball. Magic Missile. Lightning Bolt. Thunderclap. Beam. Crunch. Allahu Akbar. Recover. Nothing. None of these work. Only freeze, magic missile, fireball. That's all. These were all the attempts I did in the beginning before I created the book. If I create the book at the beginning of the game, then we won't have any of those errors because it'll be checking for the book that isn't actually even valid. So I actually need to add a check, and I can do that in a second. Fireball, magic missile, fireball, freeze, freeze, freeze. Okay, no errors. So I can actually fix that really quick. 1, this is how it looks. We're casting Testicular Torsion. You cast it. It's a custom event. Okay, we check. We get the data table to see what spell are we talking about. I could just pass in a literal string. I prefer getting the data table so that I can click it and explicitly have it this. There's no spell mistakes, there's nothing. It just takes the name straight away. Then we go and we check to see if we can cast it. If we can, then we actually cast it. So I had to add a lot of these custom events because they didn't exist. For some of them. The ones that were already attacking, that had attackers, the attacking spells, unlike recover, invisibility, deodorant, didn't have these. I had to add a local version because those normally just do stuff on the server. Doesn't matter. But what is the try casting spell? Well, it calls a function in the spell book and that returns whether you can cast. What do you do in the spell book? We just check to see if the spell's present. That's it. Is it in the array? If it is, good. But I need a check here first to make sure that the spell book is valid. And only if it is valid, then we do this check. That way, we no longer get access none in undefined behavior from doing fireball, magic missile, freeze, fireball, magic missile, blindness, deafness. Nothing. No errors. Clean. Clean, clean. Don't access invalid objects. Q. Okay, that's it. And tomorrow, I'm going to add in the different types of spells. And we'll switch depending on the game mode, or the game, the level, because that determines what spells you spawn with. And then boom. Oh, that's why I had that disconnected, I forgot. And then we update the spell, the pages, and other stuff. So, Q. Q, Q, Q. That's it. Okay, bye. Oh wait, commit real quick. What did I just do? What did I just do? Oh. Was it just the validity? Did I fuck around with the data table? What was the last thing I did? Organize spell nodes. A check. Oh. Rearranged data table. I rearranged it so that it's fireball, freeze, magic missile because that's the actual order that we want. And I can order them in other ways too. The point of doing that is so I have indexes that make sense. I'm going to use the data table itself. I'm going to do get data table rows. Oops. Get data table rows. What was it? Oh, data table row names. This. And I'm going to create an array out of all the names. That works. And then at some point I might even be able to ditch these spell names. Maybe not though. And then I could just create the array straight out. So there'll be one that has a few and one that has all. And honestly, it's that simple. So you can just go bop, bop, bop. That's it. And what's the data table? That one. Cool. In this case will be maze level, I think, and some other shit. I'm not sure what it's called, but something like that. Doesn't matter right now, but we'll say rearrange data table. And added validity check when casting spells, or added spellbook check. Plus check if, or added spellbook check. Okay. Make sure, ensure spellbook is valid before using it to check if we have a spell. Also rearrange data table so I can set spells on spawn depending on what level. i.e. maze has a few spells, hall has all, forest has some. Something like that. Okie doke. Sick. Okie dokus. That's it. Bye.